Hello, I'm here today with Joe and Richard. Joe is a founder of Storyplay, and Richard is a founder of Webcrafters company. So, hello, nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
So, we are going to talk a bit about what you have collaborated together. So, for starters, Joe, can you briefly tell what is Storyplay and what kind of games you offer?
Well, Storyplay, it's we try to create a name that kind of told people what we're doing. We are telling stories, or we are playing stories. So we're using real stories, and we create games based on the storylines that we know from different parts of the historic line that we basically from 100 years back and until now. There's a lot of cool history that has been taking place. First of all in Norway, but we have also stories around in Europe that are quite interesting to create games around the topics. So what we have discovered by working with this idea for a couple of years is that cities and populations and societies and how people connect and work together, it's quite the same way of doing that now as it was for like 100 years ago. It's all about taking choices. It's all about facing dilemmas and choosing whether to go left or right in different when you are facing different challenges. So we thought about, okay, how can we tell stories? How can we create stories and use stories as partly as an entertainment segment? How can we use it as a teaching concept? How can we try to make the stories that we know more exciting for more people? And at the time that this idea started to grow, I already knew Logquiz. So quite early in this process, I thought about how can Logquiz, who is a game creator platform, be used to describe and create these dilemmas that I know, and how can we create like different solutions based on different answering alternatives. So the basic idea is to try to tell stories, real stories, in an exciting and interesting way.
Like an extra question, how are these games played and who are the game's target group, or who are the games suited for?
It's depending on what kind of games or what kind of stories we want to tell, because we can have a city game, city race, an ordinary treasure hunt in Oslo, for instance. That can be played as a family game. It's suitable for kids down to maybe 7 or 8 years that can handle a cell phone or a tablet. Up to more advanced games meant for a group of leaders, maybe in a big company that needs to be challenged on company based or structural questions. So we don't have this like this is for kids between 10 and 15, or it's like TikTok or other social media features. We can create games for everybody who's capable of handling a cell phone. And as we know, we are maybe 5 years old and up to maybe 90.
Okay, thank you. But to Richard, what Webcrafters specializes in and does for companies like Storyplay?
Yeah, so basically we specialize in digital web solutions. So basically everything that's got to do with the web. And we tend to specialize and have competence within modern technology. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make it as easy as possible for the client to maintain it, and also for them to not like have any hassles with running it over time. And that's basically why we are created. So we basically are different crafters within this company, using modern technology to make it as simple as possible for the clients. And therefore, we met Storyplay, who wanted to sell games online. They wanted to sell games without doing very much themselves, running the whole process. So basically what we have done for them is we've set up and used a API platform which basically makes it possible to create different scenarios. So when someone buys a game within the web shop, what will happen? We will then send them the login information and they will start playing. When they stop playing, maybe we'll want to send them a diploma of some sort, using some user information from them. So you can see like, congratulations, and your name and the name of the player, and it will seem very personal. And all of this is automated, and everything is basically, there's no hassle for the client, which is in this case Storyplay, to keep this running over time. It's basically just sell as much as possible, and it will all happen automatically. And that's kind of what we specialize in.
Okay, thank you. But before you can sell the games, you have to build them. So, Helge, going back a bit in time, why you decided to create the games with LogQuiz?
Well, I've been working with LogQuiz now for, I don't know the exact date, but let's say more or less 3 years at least. So, and I've been working quite intense with the guys in LogQuiz in the community in the LogQuiz family. So I know the platform quite well, and I know that it's possible to create games that can be like step by step, like an easy quiz mode build game. From that up to high complex games where you can have where everybody starts at one place, but based on what you answering, you will have different roads to end up where you want people to end up. Like you can have different paths, or you can have different kinds of like penalties or additional questions if you choose to go like the bumpy road. If you're having based on kind of game you're playing. But I think that the LogQuiz is quite easy for me as a completely idiot about this IT structure. I don't know anything about programming, HTML coding, or how to connect APIs. I don't know anything about it. I just know how I want things to work. Mm-hmm. And as I know LogQuiz, it was also important for me that they can provide us with the necessary API connections. So we could create, like Richard said, an e-commerce based kind of web shop where you can buy games online from wherever you are around the world, and you will receive the password and login information. You will pay in the same solution, and we can also provide the players with different kinds of cool stuff that we think they need, like diplomas, vouchers. We can have them take part in a lottery. We can redirect them to a company merchandise shop with a discount voucher. Yeah, the list is endless, and that gives us the possibility to have a whole lot of fun. So as soon as I discovered that possibility, the key is the API solution that the LogQuiz has created, and the next key is and Richard and his guys, and how to how to understand how to connect those two together. That was crucial, and that's proven that it's working absolutely fantastic.
So, as you said, the next step when the games were ready, it was to set it all up. Richard, how long did it actually take from the starting point where you introduced the idea and you had to set up the web and all the environment?
Yeah, so usually we would say it would take a couple of weeks, but in this case we of course needed to plan how we wanted it to run, because no one had really done it. As long as we were concerned, no one's ever done it with Locust before, or at least said they'd done it. So we had to plan a bit, like how did we want it to work, how was the buyer process going to be, and what happens when you finish the game. Do we want to create some things happening or make some things happen after they finished playing? And that took maybe a week or two just to basically find out what do we actually want to do, how do we want the API to perform. And then after that, it wasn't long until we had something ready to try out. And then, of course, we wanted to test it and make sure we were happy with the solution. So in this case, it took a bit longer. But we usually tend to say that a couple of weeks from nothing to it being finished is usually what we operate with, as long as we know what we want to achieve. But of course, yeah, after we gotten through that maybe a month of work, back and forth communication, we had a completely finished solution. Now we also have quite a few ideas on how we can use it further, and also and what we can do for like if we start from the base again, and what we can do then, and what possibilities are with Locust.
And I would like to add something, because I had spent quite a long time thinking of how do I want this solution to be, and I need to say that I spent quite a few hours talking to other developers, like big companies, and the timeline that they estimated was like 4 times what Richard and his team provided, and I was amazed of the knowledge and the understanding of the whole concept, how that those things we were just like spot on from day one. And now that we have done the work that we have done, a new game that I create for a client or for the open market will be available in the web shop on my home site within the day. Like if I say to Richard at 8 o'clock in the morning that, okay, let's do this, it will be available the same night. So all the connections, all the wiring, all the switches and all the things, they are just lying there ready. And the API functionality, as you know, in Locust, I think we have created a room that is fully served and ready for having the starter to be placed on the plate to each and everybody.
But can you imagine if you wouldn't have this automation and everything set up? How would you handle the sales, the follow-ups to your customers? Can you imagine how many team members you would need?
I'd rather not. And that's why this project has been very important for me, and it has, and I know that it's important for Richard and his team as well, because in my opinion, if you don't aim for an automated solution in a way, it doesn't have to be like this, but it has to be, you have to give the clients the possibility to buy games whenever they want to play it. You know, if you're going to play a game who's talking about the Second World War, or you're talking about the Viking invasion in England, or the liberty of the Pole, or whatever. people prefer to play those games when they can, when they are on holiday, they are traveling, they're having a school class, whatever. And if they are going to call me, who's always busy in the phone or in my car, and I will provide them with a username and password, let's say that can work for a limited amount of players. But after they have played, so what? I don't have any information about the client. I don't have a name, I don't have the phone number or email, so I don't have my own CRM. That has to be manually built. Now I can provide games automatically. They can pay and play whenever they want to do, and I at the same time will build a client base that I can give offers for the next time I launch a new game in the same category. Mm-hmm. So to do that manually, I think that I would need at least 3, maybe 4 people, and 2 of them have to sit permanently back office answering phones and emails and providing people with username and passwords and creating batches and a whole lot of manual work. Mm-hmm. And those people only work from, let's say, 8 to 4 o'clock in the evening. What should we do if people are going to play a game at 8 o'clock in the night? Mm. Nobody's answering the phone, okay? Try to create a company now and don't answering the phone. You are quite rapidly out of business.
Mm. Considering that this automation is the key to everything, and Webcrafters connected through API ticketing, but about this marketing automation and connecting to the steps the player takes after the purchase. Richard, can you bring some cool examples of automation Storyplay uses based on player actions? Which one are your own favorites, for example?
Well, what we've spent quite a lot of time figuring out for ourselves going into this is how can we make the whole experience more than just actually playing the game. How can Storyplay be the product in this case? How can they how can the customer feel like they're getting a Storyplay experience? In that sense, we've gone into it making different scenarios, so we can listen to different things happening. So whenever they end the game, we will know, and what do we want to happen when they end the game. For instance, we have sending a diploma with a name on it and some information about the game, and you can see graphics and different things, and also the text is written based on how the game is. So you if you do a soldier game, like a army game, you'll get congrats comrade, you're a successful soldier and you recruited, and you can build more of a thing around it. That doesn't necessarily happen within the game, because you get that if you want by a text message or email afterwards, and all of that is basically themed within the game, so you feel like you're still playing the game even though you're not within the Locus app. So that's quite cool, and at the same time we've also created solutions for Storyplay to set up B2B, basically business client panels within their website, where they can have their own courses and host their own games just for their business, and everything is basically fitted to them, and in the same, in this instance as well, you get the same things. But on top of that, we have other functionality that we haven't or we're working on utilizing, like scoreboard. Do you want to give people the ability to compete against each other, or extracting media? So if you take pictures and stuff underneath, as you're going within a game, you will get them sent to you with a link, and you get the ability to share it to Facebook and other social media. And at the same time, you can reply back, I don't want the images, please delete, and it will automatically be deleted from the website. So everything is completely automated here as well. So we have quite a few cool examples, but we're still working on expanding on it.
Again, I would just like to add something as well, because we have created a couple of pages that are company specific, and one of the companies, they want to run courses and education for the employees, and we can give them like 4-step ladder where they start on level 1, and we can also tell we can make the score decide whether they are going to fail or pass that specific test. So if they pass, they will get one kind of diploma. If they fail, they will have another message that's saying that, sorry, but your score was too low. You have to wait like 1 week. Please try again. And as soon as they reach the diploma, maybe the department leader or the manager of the company will also get a copy of that message. So he or she will always know who has been taking what kind of courses and classes. For this particular company, some of the people working there are depending on passing a theory test before they can do a practical test. It's for both drivers. And it's automated. The people can take this test whenever they want. The game is structured and created in a stressful manner. It's not like a traditional e-learning. And it's basically a escape game. All of these games are based on the same idea. It's a time limit. You have to face stress. You have to cooperate with others. Maybe you have to make decisions, and that's quite common for almost everywhere you're working. All those factors are important, like time issues, stress issues. You have colleagues that you have to relate to, and you have to make decisions, and you have to listen to good advices. So this automatically diplomas, for instance, I think that's a quite clever idea.
Mm. This sounds like a really personalized experience. Helga, would you say to someone who is still hesitating to set up this kind of combination to create game with quiz and then sell them through their own website, how to ease their hesitations?
I've talked to a few people already in the quiz family, and I think the biggest concern they have is that this is too complicated, because the people I'm talking to, they are salespeople, they are running like startup companies and they are good with people. They don't like to, really, should I create my own like e-commerce solution? Well, I'm just like that. But we have done a lot of the basic work already. So I know now, and this has nothing to do actually about quiz, but I know now that the process that I've been through can be useful for everybody who wants to have the access to all the clients in the world, instead of trying to promote a phone number or an email address. That's 10 years old technology. We don't do that anymore. People would like to have everything on the cell phone or the tablet. They will play it on the go. They are standing in the middle of a city and like, what to do here? Okay, let's try this homepage that we have been receiving info about. And in that city, we have 3 games, and you can just plug and play. It will take them 2 minutes to be online with a new game. And the manager of the company could be sleeping in another part of the world, for all I know. And the games will be running, and hopefully the income will be running as well. So if anyone have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, and I will promise to give you all my honest answers.
We make sure to add your contacts in the link below the video.
Yes, please.
But Richard, would you like to add something? Where do you see the biggest savings for the clients, money or time, with the integrations you have set up?
Yeah, well, I think there's quite a few upsides with doing this. I think it's good to remember that you can actually, when you go into this type of project, making your whole concept automated, you can actually then you get the power of choosing what the buying experience and also the user experience is going to be beforehand. So you can choose exactly how you want the experience to be. And what's going to happen when you can basically like sit down on the drawing board and feel like a superhero because you're in charge and you do it beforehand, and then after you basically just press play and make sure people get to your site and buy the game. But when they do that, then everything happens just as planned. And when you do make it automated and you have a online shop working in that way, it basically becomes a workhorse. There's no limits. It basically enables you to think a lot bigger than you would before. You can create different type of products for different countries. You can, when someone gets to the website in Italy, it was showed in with all the games that is basically available in Italy. You can do like anything you want basically, and you can, I guess, the whole world will be your playground if you choose to, and that's all in your hands. You have to choose what your concept will be, and as long as you get people to your site and they buy the game, everything will happen automatically after that. So I guess that's what the whole idea here is, and what's great about it.
I would just like to add something to that too. I'm Adder, so
Go ahead.
You can try to imagine, take a country, let's say Finland. They have a tourist flow in Finland. I don't know the numbers, but there will be several hundreds of thousand people entering Finland each year, arriving by boat or by plane or visiting the 1,000 lakes, or I don't know. You can provide all the tourists with a game based on where they are arriving. Let's say they will come to a boat and land in Helsinki. You can have 3 games in Helsinki that people they have been prepared on the boat on the way over to Helsinki. This is a game for families. Call it like Kids and Family Challenge, Volume 1. And when you have played it, you can play it on the boat. Or you can give them a teaser, like 4 questions, and you'll have a voucher that gives you a username and the password that you will be using when you are inside the city. And then in the city, you can have a 40 minutes game, city race game, treasure hunt. And as soon as you are finished with that one, you will receive a universal gift card or a voucher that gives you like a 2-for-1 offer in any restaurant that you can find in that city. And as we know, in these times with Corona and disaster about tourists, so I think that there will be a lot of visitors in different countries and cities. It can also be used as a teaser for your own local people who wants to visit your city. Tourist games are a good idea. And the shops and the restaurants will get people to visit them, and they will have them to buy something more than they usually would. So, yeah.
Thank you. Then I have a bonus question for the both of you. If you could say only one thing, maximum 3 sentences, to our viewers today to remember from this conversation, what would it be? So,
should I start?
Yeah, you start, Richard.
Everything is possible.
Very good. Yeah, Helge.
Automated is the new manual.
Oh, that's a nice one. Thank you. So again, I'm very happy you've both found time to join in today's webinar. And I hope your summer will continue in a really fine way, and you will have lots of interesting games coming up in the future. So also thank you to our viewers, and until next videos and next games. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.